So, can you tell me why multiple inheritance not supported in Java?
Okay. So actually, in multiple inheritance, multiple not supported, but you can achieve through the interface logic. But if you are, you cannot extend multiple, like you can extend only one, right, in the parent child concept,
Yeah.
but you can implement more. So if you, yeah, so if you are extending the parent to child concept, you can only extend only one child. So for that,
Okay. What will happen if we put a key object in a hash map which is already there?
sorry, can you repeat again?
Yeah, so in a hash map we are using some objects as a key. Okay. So what will happen if we put a key object in in that hash map which is already there? That means that object is already there and we are putting it again.
Okay, okay. So first of all, if you are passing in hash map as any object as a key, so you made to be with the mutability concept. So you
Yeah.
have to override the hash map and the equals method. So if you only hash map, it will not like in hash code and equals method. Sorry, hash code and equals method. So you cannot compare the object address. You have to compare the content inside the object. So for that, in the equals method, you have to compare and be sure if having the same employee and the hash code should be different. So you have to implement different hash code logic there to the any prime number or anything. So hash code equals method you have to implement.
Okay. So do you know how to create immutable objects?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So in creating immutable class, we need to do all the variable we need to declare all the variable final, right?
Yes.
So what is the reason behind that? What can be?
Yeah. So whenever you are defining all the rest the variable, so you cannot change its value. So for that return, if you define final means you cannot change that values. So if you defining any through the constructor, you can also change it or something, or you cannot change the like instance variable. So for that, say they define the class as variable. So anything can be changed.
Okay.
Value cannot be changed.
So why string is immutable in Java?
Okay. So basically, string they providing the immutability because of there is so many regions. So that need to be because what happened for security reason also, and if you are doing some class loading concept in the time, so you can change the class names or any metadata you can't change, right? So if you're changing, then it will be like problematic for us too. So for that, so some of the classes needed that should not be changed. For that reason, like in a username, password, if you are changing or a class name or anything, so for that reason, the string as immutable, so cannot be changed for that perspective.
Okay. Okay. So this object class in Java has several methods, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we have wait and notify method in declared in object class. So what is the reason behind that? Because these methods are used in thread environment. So
Hmm.
uh, do you think these should be in thread class instead of object class? And if are these in object class, what can be reason behind that?
Yeah. So basically, wait notify because you are notifying from one thread to other thread. So to wake up or and execute your task. So if I'm defining the thread class, in that should be in a global location. So where it can be called, right? If you are communicating with two different resources, and that should be third places where you can manage or you can wake up another thread. So
Yeah.
for that object is the parent class of all. So here is the wait and notify method is there. So you are using object wait notify method,
Okay.
not in thread. Yeah.
Okay. So you need to store password in your application. So what type of data type you will use for that?
Mostly we are using a string, but not directly storing. Yeah, we are using AES encryption, like on encryption and decryption part we are doing basically. So base 64 and cipher we are using, suppose in encrypt or decrypting.
Okay. Have you used executor framework?
No, sir. Actually, I never worked on multi-threaded environment. Our project is using, but I never worked on.
Okay, and what type of design patterns you have used?
So many factory design pattern we are using single dot adapter design pattern, API gateway design pattern. I know like decorative design patterns, observable design patterns, singleton design patterns. So many.
Okay, so can you explain me about the decorative design pattern?
Yeah. So on decorative design pattern, basically, like you have to you can't change like in whenever your requirement is coming, like you have to add a new like what do you call uh, new method or new requirement you have to add it. Do not change the existing file system. What do you have? So for that you have to resume use like decorative design pattern. You have to just add a new method, not to be like to change your existing file system. For that you are using. So through the interfaces, you can you do that.
Okay,
Like in
and
report server you are using maybe, yeah.
okay. Okay, so what is the difference between factory and abstract factory design pattern?
Okay. So factory design pattern, you are providing the actually you give the chances to the how to create an object. So you do not do that. They will create that. Your client will create that. So, but in abstract, there is one more type of abstractions is there, I think. So another in between, there another instant interface is there. So one more abstraction in between that. So creating an object by the client, which is implementing basically.
Okay, so is it possible to override or overload a static method in Java?
You can do that, but you override. You cannot tell that is override, but you can write. But it is called method hiding.
Okay, okay, good. So suppose a method is throwing null pointer exception in superclass. So can we override it with a method which throws runtime exception?
Okay. Null pointer exception in child class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, unchecked exception, na? Not null pointer exception. Yeah, you can null pointer exception and exception. Yeah, you can do that. Checked unchecked exception, you can override. You can override, I think. Yes. Null pointer exception.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, I'll
Can
just.
you tell me the difference between sleep and wait?
Yeah, sleep and wait. Normally, sleep is actually basically you are telling your current, like in current thread to sleep some of the times, and wait like if you're telling to wait another thread or something, you have to wait for a particular time.
Hmm.
Actually, I never used sleep and wait, but I know that part only. Wait. Sometimes you are using for wait. Sorry, sleep thread. Sleep you are using some of the time. So thread will be like pause some of the or like if you are using some asynchronous call, na. So you need to wait for some of the time so you get the data from asynchronous call. And for that we want to use like you have to thread should sleep some nanoseconds or something. So you can use it.
Okay. Okay. So, uh, in your, I mean, in core Java, can you access non-static variable in static context? Is that possible?
Non-static variable. Static. Non-static variable. Let me think.
So,
I forget
you
actually.
have
I recall that part. Yeah, sorry.
okay, no problem. You have, so suppose you declared some variables outside
Uh-huh.
main method, non-static
Okay.
variables outside main method. So can you access them from main method? Because main
Yeah,
method
yeah,
is
yeah,
static, right?
yeah, yeah. If it is defined in a class and a main method inside define that class and you defining some of the instance variable, you can use it, right? Yeah, you
Okay.
can access. It's a part of class.
Yeah. So can you tell me what is the difference between comparable and comparator?
Yeah. So both interfaces for actually for sorting the elements basically from a class if you have you want to use. So comparable having the comparator and comparator having the compare two methods, I think. So for multi, if you do more than one, then you can go for, I think, comparator, and comparable maybe I think single for you can use for sorting mostly you are using. So normally you are not using, you directly using directly in Java 8. So you can use, if you want to use, you can extend, sorry, implement that interface.
Okay. And what is singleton?
Yeah, so singleton means it will create the instances, single instances for you for the application.
Okay, so is it better to make whole method synchronized or only the critical section of synchronized while
Mm,
creating a
depends
singleton
on,
class?
okay, singleton class if you are
Yeah.
asking. Yeah, so in singleton class we defining now synchronize, then this sorry, synchronize method we are doing na synchronize, inside that we are creating that instances for us. So
Yeah.
any single instance can be synchronized.
Okay.
No, sorry. Synchronized, we are passing. No, we are not passing. Sorry. Yeah. Synchronized.
Okay. So in your in exception, you have written a statement in try block, catch block, and finally block as well.
Mhm.
So what will be the priority as a return?
Write the exception in try, catch, and finally.
Huh.
Finally, you are writing exception.
In
Finally.
no return statement is there.
Yeah, finally, if you're defining any return statement finally, then it will always execute. Till if you're not exiting the system exit, if you're not writing, then automatically call that final method will be called. If you have
Oh,
any exception, so then if you having no exception, then you will go to the catch. If you have the return, then it will go to the again the finally. So finally always be called.
okay. Okay. So can you tell me what is aggregation?
Yeah. Aggregation and composition is basically a relationship and has a relationship. So basically composition is part of an aggregation. So so you can tell like a car and like a car, and you can consider a like a Honda City is a car. So there is a relationship. So they can unidirectional and independent. If anything changes to the parent, then it will not act any effect on that part. So, but in yeah, this is the aggregation is a relationship.
Okay. And what is binary tree?
Yeah, binary tree for actually working the node concept is happening basically. So for storing the element and like in tree manner where node and leaves is there. So one node should have maximum two leaves, and right left side should be lower than the parent node and right side will be greater than the parent node. This concept is there in binary tree. So yeah, so basically for the storing the element, and it is used in hash map in Java 8.
Mm-hmm. So can you tell me how hashmap internally works?
Okay. So in Java 8 or Java 7?
Java 8.
Java 8, okay. So basically, HashMap actually, first of all, it is using array list for storing array as indexing, and for storing double linked list they are using. So first of all, whenever you are creating any put method, it will first of all it doing the hashing part. So hashing part is nothing but finding the creating the hash address for that key. So they are using the hash code method of the object class. So after the finding the creating that indexes, and go to the that array indexes and storing the element in the double linked list. And where you are having the like if first 4 nodes is there, like if first the address, and second is the keys, third is the value, and fourth one is the next node addresses. So basically they are storing. And if you are doing like the same key you are putting, then again hash collision can be happen, and through the equals method they can be find out which indexes should be. If it is the same indexes and hash collision happen, then if the value is same, then it will override. If it is the value is different, then to the next node. And in concept to Java, if the hash collision is happen regularly, so there is a tree five threshold limit of 8. So whenever it is come to the 8 times the collision is happening, then your double linked list is converted to the tree set, so binary tree. So and in between that, if you're deleting some of the element, if it is like in the threshold limit comes to 6, then it will convert to the again binary to the that linked list. So yeah, so it depends upon the collision part. So how you implement?
Okay. Have you used Java 8?
Yeah, we're using from last 3 years.
Okay, so I will give you a scenario, and you need to tell me how, like, logic behind it. So we have a list of employees where we have employee ID is there, employee name is there, and some other properties as well. So can you tell me the logic in Java 8 to provide the top 3 highest paid employees?
Top 3 highest employee.
Yeah.
Okay, let me think. If you are using like if you are doing the sorted mechanism, then comparator, then comparing list.stream, then sorted comparator or comparing, and inside that you are defining employee.getSalary, money method reference you are calling. If you are using reverse concept, then it will if you are doing the reverse part, it will do like the highest element you get. And there is a limit concept, I think, that I've never used. Limit 2 to 3 you can consider.
Yeah,
Then if
limit
you want to,
method is there.
you can use it like in last. And if you need a single, then reverse dot skip or find fast you can use directly. Yeah. From that way, through the reverse method, it will do that in ascending to descending. Yeah. So ascend from descending, highest element will come to first. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that way.
Can you tell me how this garbage collection works in Java?
Okay, it's a long topic. Okay. So garbage collection basically working like they have the internal structure. Basically, they have the hidden space and S0 and S1. So they are using some of the algorithm that is called a serializable, a parallel, and another is a CTS or something. I don't remember exactly. So their algorithm, Microservices algorithm, they are using internally. So what happened if you newly created an object that is go to the like hidden space, and after some time it will go to, if it is survivor for long time, then it will go to the to S0 part, then come on to S1 part. So there is a concept of algorithm max sweep. So it will if it is in hidden space, it will take care from the hidden to S0, then come to S1, then do the minor garbage collection. So it will come and sweep it the value from the heap memory basically. So serial and parallel, another something is there, and CTS or something. That is same as yeah. So yeah, so they are internally work it is as it is.
Okay,
Like
okay.
in hidden space and survivor space, basically hidden and survivor space concept is there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct. So, what other features you have used of Java 8?
Java it mostly you are using method reference, functional interface, functional programming through Lambda, and we are using stream mostly, and so many interface like in filter, map, so many things you are using. That only optional also you are using, and we are using base 64 also, I think we are using, and local data also we are using, and
Okay.
Yeah, so and so many like in Java streams concept and filter map collects comparator collect list and so we are using.
Okay. Okay. So, uh, like apart from Core Java, what other frameworks you have used? So, can you tell me apart from Core Java, what other frameworks you have used?
Previously, I worked on Struts framework I've already used, and I've also worked on earlier JS7 and Prime Faces. And currently, I'm working in Spring Boot with Microservices Spring Boot framework actually we're working, and Microsoft with the architecture we are using currently. And currently, we are using Hibernate and so many concept here, like in API gateway concept and registry server, discovery server concept also we are using. But the technology we are using Spring Boot with microservices. And I earlier I was on Struts.
Okay, struts struts 1 or struts 2?
One Struts 1.3, I think, yeah,
Okay.
previously, not 2.
So do you remember what is the front? What will be the front controller in struts?
Uh, okay, I know. So let me think. Controller, I can tell you means how it works. So we have to define like in WebXML file that is fine. Then starts XML file you have to define the action name, the path, the method, and the action name, and you can define the forward where you can define the forward page, and you have a list action class. So in list action class for the dashboard you having the list contents, and you have the action classes where you're defining any method having the mapping form request and response, and you can define your you can call it like your business logic to the service class, then service class call to your service implementation class, and yeah, in that way, and you can requesting the find forward to the whichever the name you are defining, that name should go to the XML file and matches that part and will forward to the that URL you are defining in the forward page part, so it will work it is.
Yeah,
And
because
yeah.
I also worked in struts long back, and we use action servlet, just like we use dispatcher servlet in. Do you remember that?
Yeah, maybe dispatcher servlet.
Action servlet
Action
is
servlet.
there.
Yeah.
So all the all these frameworks like struts, even spring, are based on front controller design pattern, where we have
Yeah.
a front
Hmm.
I mean uh, a, a controller which catches your request first. In the case of strut, it is action servlet.
Yeah, actually, what
Dispatcher
happened?
servlet is there.
Actually,
And
I
now,
never worked in. Yeah, yeah, tell
so
me.
yeah, tell me.
Actually, what happened? So whenever I worked on, basically at the product which is already implemented. So actually in my previous product, so you cannot write a direct action because they already have common classes. You need to be writing action classes now. You cannot, like, they have so many abstractions is there. So normally you are writing in XML file you have to entry, and you have to create like list action concept and also action concept. Then you have to write the logic in service and repository, sorry, XML in implementation class. So normally you are using. So that the front end part and the controller part, I think it's already means like in now the XML file we are using the not the direct communications there basically. So we have like struts.transaction XML, we have the struts.master.xml.
Yeah.
So different directly, yeah.
Okay, so coming to Spring Boot framework, can you tell me why Spring Boot was introduced? I mean, what problem it solves?
Yeah, so earlier in Spring MVC, we have like so many configuration part in XML where whenever you are writing, so you have to define so many things like in XML. You have to define the dependency injections. You have to writing all the XML file and bin XML file. So that like in so many code, we have to write in XML file. So in Spring Boot, they are providing other Spring Boot applications. They are having the enable auto configuration for you. So you know not to be create, you just it will create bin for you. If you define the @ bin, it will create bin for you. If you defining @auto, it will provide you. So they have like so many features, like they're providing the parental concept basically. So handling your all versioning concept, and also whenever you're defining any POM XML file, like any Spring Boot having concept, like it's developing fast, and only just you have to add the dependency in POM XML file. It will download your jar for you and will work backgroundly. So the auto configuration part, they actually minimizing in Spring Boot basically. Yeah, and also they have the CLI concept, so you can use it Spring theme leaf and template part also you can use. And it's better for like any microservice environment. You have to write less code because they have so many annotation, extra annotation they are providing. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me what is inversion of control?
Yeah, I was inversion control basically. There are the actually the controller main, which is handling the request and forwarding the dispatcher sublet basically. So he's actually handling the bin, backgroundly handling the bin life cycle basically for you. So that yeah.
Okay. Okay. So have you used Hibernate as well?
Yeah, we're using.
So what is the difference between Hibernate first level cache and second level cache?
Yeah. So fast level cache is basically to specific to like your session concept. So you can manage through the session. But if you depend the second level cache or any third party second level cache, if you are implemented in C3P0 like C3P0, so they will work on you can communicate like the data in between the transaction part. You can communicate through the different session. It's a session factory level. So for the application different session, you can achieve the cache concept. You can achieve. So where you can reuse your transactions, connections, yeah, basically second level cache.
Okay. And what is bean factory in Spring?
Bean factory. I don't remember, sir, actually.
And
I
application
directly want
context. Yeah, I can
directly
understand
working.
bean factories. Nowadays we are not using bean factory, although it is there. We use like, do you know what is application context?
Yeah, application context basically whenever you are loading, like your whenever the application is run na boot na, so all the context should be like just like RAM. So in from the peripheral memory to the hard drive to the it's come to RAM, right? So something like that. So all the during the class run application run, so some of the things you need to be run to for that you need to be you do into exposed to the application context, so it can be started. So yeah, the application context level basically. So you can access throughout the application that part.
Okay. Okay. So I have you worked with time zones as well?
No. Actually, we are using local date concept, but I know to zone concept in Java you can use it, journal. But this is actually the client is in HDFC only, the Indian bank. So it is a product which is not using basically. So we are
Yeah.
not.
Okay. Okay. So apart from that, have you used microservices as well?
Yeah, I'm working from last 2 years in Spring Boot with microservices.
Okay, so in microservices, how you are managing you must be using different Spring Boot applications. So how you are managing profiles of different environment?
Yeah. So we have a configuration server basically. So in the configuration server, if any microservices having there also have the server specific configuration, also have some global configuration. For the global configuration, we have the configuration server, and which is taking the properties from the Git server. So where in the configuration server we are defining the Git URI there basically. and we're fetching that like development profiles or any product QCM profile or UAT profile and production profile, you can fetch it. And you have to should write profile should be active, like in configuration file you are defining the active part is 3 and 4 you are already defined as active. And in one of the microservices you need to the that profile development profile you want to use, so you can define @profile. Inside that you can equal to write dev, so that profile will be active for you. And you can also write the properties file also, that dev properties you want to access, and through the configuration properties and through the prefix you can access all the properties of the configuration server. Yeah.
Okay. So like I think I have done from my side. Do you have any questions?